Hey guys, future Josh here. Just wanted to apologize for the fact that this video is out of focus. We just don't really have time to refilm the video, so this is our review, but unfortunately the focus is not on us, so it's going to be a little bit blurry. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Fear Columbus. Now, we've also been to a couple other haunts that you want to look at for reviews of. We just did Carnage's review, and we will be having... Jail of Terror's review coming up here tomorrow, if you're watching this when it actually comes out. Now, this is technically our third time being Fear Columbus because we did do the Christmas event.
Yes.
But this is our second actual time being there. Now, we had never been when it was it the 13th gate, 13th floor, right?
13th floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had never been there when it was that. We were there when it was Scaratorium a very long time ago. And that's a completely different thing. And yeah, we were very impressed with it when we saw it last year, so we wanted to make sure we made it this year just to see, what improvements, whatever, was going on with it. So yeah. So that's what we're going to be kind of talking about today, and this review probably will be a little bit longer because, God, there's just a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're going to just kind of get right to it, which of course means we need to refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Alright, so as always, we are going to start with sets and props.
Yes, and the first sentence says, all of the sets, and also all of the props.
This place, which, I mean, the themes are the same as last year. I think there's some things that have changed. It's hard to tell because this place is solid on the senses. Every scene is just something else to look at.
Yeah.
Even, like, the transitioning scenes are still done so well that it's just like, dear God. But anyways, so the first thing you walk into is called The Summoning. That's the first, right when you walk into this, as soon as you drive up to this place, actually.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a party's going on.
Literally, like, your car is vibrating. It's like, boom,
oh,
boom,
yeah.
boom. The bass is just hitting, and you're just like, oh, okay. It's
like,
a party.
Yep, like, outside's all, like, party music and stuff like that. Now, it is all time ticketing, so we did the Fast Pass, so we didn't get to stand out there much. But this year, they have little games you can play. They have, like, little vendors and all of that. And, yeah, I will say, like, I don't know what category this would fall in, so we'll talk about it here, but it's amazing how well organized everything is.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, like, all of the people have, like the people that, like, get you into the haunt and, like, tell you where to go and that. They all have, like, a little microphone, like, a speaker, so you can hear them very clearly amongst all the noise. Because this is a very, very loud haunt.
Yes.
Very loud. The entire thing is, which we will get more into that, but yeah, even the outside loud. So it's very nice that they do this so you can very clearly hear what they're trying to convey to you. So as soon as you walk into the building, the things turn a little more spookier, and there's this really cool facade. Unfortunately, I didn't get to take any pictures because we went in and we were basically told, get in the haunt. And we were like,
okay.
You go through a photo op, and then as soon as you're at the photo op, into the summoning you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you get to see, like, kind of like a cool facade that you go into. But the first area is called The Summoning, which is... basically, let's do some witchcraft.
Yeah, it's very witchy, very, like, Satan-y, like, dark magic kind of theme.
Yeah.
Which I love, because you don't see it, like, done like this, because it's, like, very ornate.
Yes.
Like, looking. It's, like, Victorian, like, black magic. Like, not voodoo, like, like, very, like, yeah.
Yeah, like, old school witches, like, yeah, it's just very, very pretty. Like... pretty witches. Like, they live in a nice little castle. They wear
like
black on
Suspiria
Wednesday kind of thing.
Yeah, like uppity witches. It almost is what it feels like
yeah.
you're kind of going through in a way. But yeah, because there also does seem to be some elements of, like, being in, like, an actual, like, haunted house type of thing. So I don't really know if you're supposed to be in, like, this is, like, the facility where they summon the demons. Maybe that's what's kind of going on. Because, I mean, it is called The Summoning. So maybe that's, like, what you're supposed to be going through. And, like, as you get towards the end, there are, like, entity things, like these giant cool puppets that seem to be, like, kind of breaking through or something. I don't know if that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I kind of assume that they're, like, finally, conjuring up those demons that they've been working so hard as you're walking through the thing. Because there's, like, writing on the walls, there's chanting, there's spooky music going on at the same time, There's people doing, like, rituals in, like, almost every other room.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, at least one of them might have worked.
But yeah, and I mean, like, and I forgot I made this note, but Boo Pedal City had some deals going on. So, like, this place, especially in the Summoning, uses boo pedals.
Oh my
So, and
gosh.
again, if you don't watch our reviews and if you don't know what a boo pedal is, it's basically, so some haunts, actors will pop out and go raw, whatever, say, talk to you. With this, the actor does that, but there's also a pedal that they hit which activates a trigger, like lights flashing, loud sounds, an additional part of the scene. That's what a boo
Yeah.
pedal is, and almost every actor in the summoning has one that they hit
Yes.
to accentuate the scare, and boy does it work. We'll talk more about it in Scare Factor, but it is effective.
Yes, very much so.
And again, just like the speakers they use, it's so loud that it makes it kind of impossible to tell what's going on in the next room, which is cool. But I mean, there's so much to look at, and there's so much misdirection. There's just, there's that really cool scene I talked about it before, where you walk in and it looks like the middle is the mirror, but what it actually is they have the floor exactly like each end is the same, and then the sides is the mirror. So it looks like you're walking through a mirror. So that's really cool. There's oh god, there's just so much. I guess they were playing Twin Temple, which I didn't even realize.
Yeah, they were playing Lucifer, My Love,
Yeah.
over like the ritualistic music, because they also had like weird chanting going, and then they of course had some atmospheres like dun kind of music going on. But like, yeah, like kind of in between like certain areas, they had Lucifer, My Love playing, which I thought was kind of entertaining.
So if you don't know what Twin Temple is, it's satanic doo-wop music. With such classics as Lucifer, My Love, or Let's Have a Satanic Orgy.
Yay.
So check them out if you want to hear some really weird music. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun. They had a bunch of really cool seance rooms. There's some that's like hard to tell, like what's the real person, what's the prop.
Yeah.
There was a cool hallway with they was like all like wood paneling, and they had like TV screens behind to make it look like it was burning down. A couple of the TV screens were glitching out, but I mean like this place has so many things, like I can't fault it for one or two things not working, because like almost every animatronic we did see was working. Surprisingly, the vortex tunnel was shut off.
Yeah, that was weird, which I honestly don't even think it really needs to be there. I know it was kind of being a transition between the two houses. But I really don't think it needs even to be there. It's just kind of like, have something else. Do something else that'll transition you. Maybe like a cool room with like ethereal lighting. Like we mentioned, we went to some house that it had like the room was just lit with this weird ethereal lighting, and
because honestly the vortex tunnel
going into
vortex tunnel kind of threw me out a little bit, because it's like everything else is so ornate and so uniquely this haunt that the vortex tunnel, and now you're like, oh, here's the thing I see at every haunt.
Yes.
So I really wish it would just go away and they'd put something better there. They did have some of those cool like laser hallways though with purple lights.
Yeah.
Those were fun because they put like a mirror at the end of one, and it was super trippy.
It was very trippy.
There was a point where, and they got, so I remember when we were there before, there was like this part where it's like this weird like almost black maze, and everyone was like, it was a bottleneck and everyone was getting lost in there. Well, they made it a lot shorter, I believe, and they put like a rope on the wall so you don't get freaking lost.
Yeah, I'm like, why is there a rope here? And it said hold on to like keep your path, stay on the path or something like that. And yeah, I did feel like it was a lot shorter, which is a good thing because black hallways.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't even really, well, I don't even know why the rope was there, because I could see everything. It wasn't like really.
Yeah, it wasn't that dark.
It was not that dark at all. But I mean, like, besides that one little section, I mean, everything is just a scene, and it's so like full of salt that like, it's hard for me to remember a lot of different scenes from it because there's so much going on all the time. Yeah. It's just really cool and super witchy. Now, this one definitely is the shorter of them. And like I said before, there was those really cool puppets. One thing I don't remember from before I want to mention before we move on to the next haunt is the barrel room.
Yeah.
I don't remember that barrel room before.
I remember the barrel room.
Was it there?
Yeah, because I was just like, what are we walking into?
I don't know how it even fits into the theme of the summoning, because it was in the summoning, not in the aftermath.
Well, I think we were like in another part of the house, and I think it was like barrels of wine, or maybe like ritual sacrificial.
I don't know
blood.
how they say
I don't know.
Goes in there, but I thought it was a cool room, and you had to kind of like duck around and stuff, so that was neat. And yeah, they do have a lot of scrim, like you said, like you can't see the next room because you really have to like push your way through that, which is cool. So yeah, then you go to the next haunt, called Aftermath: The Final Stand. So we don't know if they're gonna like change it next year. Why it's called The Final Stand? Maybe it's always been called The Final Stand.
No, because the one year it was called Anarchy.
Okay, yeah,
it was called Aftermath Anarchy, and I happened to notice it because they do have like a mini queue line between the two haunts. So they can kind of try to separate you again and stuff like that. And as we walked up, I looked up at the sign and I saw that it said Aftermath, the final stand. And I was like, oh, I wonder if this is the final year for it. So we're curious to see if it's going to be around again for next year or not.
Yeah.
If this was maybe the last year for it or something like that. Who knows?
And now I didn't notice too much new in this haunt, but this haunt has to be, like, the summoning is great. The summoning is amazing, and I love the theme. But Aftermath has to be one of the most ornate, over-the-top themed, lit sound haunts.
Just all over.
So you kind of enter, I think, through like a diner is kind of what you enter through. And then when you exit the diner, you're into like the middle of a city. So there's things like a tattoo parlor, a grocery store, an asylum, a garage, and you will eventually weave through all of these places. Now, they're not separate haunts, but it's all part of one haunt on this like city street that they've made.
Yeah.
And I do believe they've added like more cars, because I remember being able to see across a little bit more, but it seems like they've made it a little bit more of a pass so the actors can hide better. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm misremembering, but I think that that's what's happened.
Like, I don't recall, there's apparently a helicopter up in the sky. You can't see it, but you can hear it, and you can see the rope ladder hanging, with somebody hanging off of the rope ladder, like he kind of like got attacked, and he's just kind of hanging there. But you can hear the helicopter up there. You can see the lights coming from the helicopter. I don't remember that being there before. But
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, and I do think that there was a lot more cars, because I don't remember one. There was one completely on its side.
Yeah.
Like it was making itself a wall, basically.
Yeah. So we're gonna just kind of move through this, because I don't want to make this review crazy long. Just there is a lot to see.
Yes.
So the first one you go through is the asylum. There's things like a CAT scan room. You go through different operating rooms. There's like a whole like control center. There's a morgue you go through. And then you go back to the city, into a tattoo parlor. Yep. You're not in the tattoo parlor for super long.
No, it's like literally, it's like one little room. You hear like the buzzing of the thing. You go weave through it. Then you go into like a general store where you can buy cigarettes. It actually smells like cigarettes in there, which is kind of weird. I did notice that because I walked in. I'm like, oh, it even smells like smoke.
There's a butcher shop you go to, and this weird like mirror room kind of thing, where it's not a mirror maze, but they have like mirrors like behind the things, and so it kind of makes the room look a lot bigger than it is and confusing. There's a really cool garage with like a car, and the way they have like the fog effects and the lighting for this car is just like awesome. Like the fog is like coming up from this under like this mat that an actor's on, so it looks like fog is like pouring out from the car, which is cool.
Yeah, because it looks like the car's on fire basically, and it just really,
which is the effect I assume they're going for. There's a cool room that's like pages all over the wall that has a really good scare in it. There's a greenhouse with all kinds of like man-eating plants.
And there's another good scare in there too.
Yeah, there's a good scare in there because there's a cool, like, snake puppet in there. Then you get to the shipping container, like not the shipping containers, like the shipping room where, like, the trucks would back up to, like, unload things to the stores. There's a guy with, and I think this is new, but there is one of those giant chainsaw puppet.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, so it's like a chainsaw bigger than the length of this table with, like, an actual moving, like, it's fake, but it's like a moving chain, and they, like, shove it out at you. And then one thing I'm pretty sure this is new, I think, is like the final scene is this giant room with like two like dragon, like the one might be a giant serpent, but the one's like a giant skeletal dragon puppet.
Yeah.
And you're in like a half claustrophobia. It's lit really cool, and there's like a guy at the chainsaw, and there's like so much going on in this room.
Yeah, it's almost like they're fighting against each other, and you happen to be in the middle of it. Is basically what it is, and it's just like full force, just everything coming at you at once, and you're just like
very overwhelming.
So overwhelming.
There's
but amazing.
Like I said, the scenes here, like we could go on, but I mean, just again, the lighting, I mean, the fact that you go back to the city street, you're using that space over and over again, and like, it's phenomenal, and everything about this haunt is good, but the sets and props is just like next level. Yes. It's definitely one of the best haunts in the United States, especially as far as sets and props go. We gave sets and props a 10. Which I think that's what we gave it last year as well. I can't imagine we didn't give it a 10 last year. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just it's just awesome. Because, yeah, looking at the notes from last year, because we have them here. Oh, church. I don't think there was there a church scene this year? Oh, there might have been. Who knows? But, yeah, it looks like it, like, ended on the greenhouse maybe last year, because we don't have anything about... And I feel like we would have made notes about the giant puppets. Let us know if that is new this year or not.
Yeah.
Again, we go to so many. I just don't remember that scene. I feel like I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so next up is going to be actors.
All right. There was a lot, which is really surprising because,
especially in the summoning.
Yeah. And, our biggest complaint is always like, we're like, we wish there was more actors, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot. Yeah, the summoning had quite a bit. I think that, Aftermath probably needed a little bit more. You can kind of tell where there was supposed to be actors.
Yeah, there's a couple spots, but still, like, after the summoning, because the summoning was such a full assault, I got multiple double scares. Like, as soon as we walked in, some guy used his little boo pedal and came out of a corner, and I scared me and looked at him, and as soon as I turned, there's a guy right there in my face. He was just like a normal, like, roaming actor without a boo pedal. Scared the out of me. Like, apparently I made a fun noise.
He got the double scare. You got the guy with the knife.
Yeah, so there's a room where, like, there's two that come out at the same time, both of them with, like, a knife. Like, you're in the middle of the room, and they come out from both sides and, like, put knives in your face.
Yeah.
That one got me really good. You said saw some girl some girl in some doll room. I don't remember any of this, but...
Yeah, there was a doll room area, and there was a little girl. Like, she was probably 10. If not, she was a little person. Sorry if I misinterpreted you being a child, but she looked like a child. I give props to her because she scared the cream cheese out of me. And she came right at me. She was just like, ah, like that. So.
The mirror illusion people scare me. Even though I knew there was a scare there, I looked to the left and the person wasn't there, and I looked to the right and they hit the boo pedal and get right in my face and scared the crap out of me. Probably one of the ones that scared me the most was in the barrel room. There's like, I didn't know where they were going to come from, and like I was happening to be looking at a corner and he activated it then, and like because it's a completely dark corner, those lights turn on, the sound happens, and he flies at me, scared the crap out of me. Because again, they use distractions really well in this haunt. So, like, you really never know where something's coming out. Sometimes the boo pedal, like, there'll be something, like, happening over here, and then that's when the actor comes from the other way to get you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they come from the same direction. The other really cool thing is, like, sometimes they come from below. There's a scene where someone is actually up above you and will reach down. Mm-hmm. Some of the hallways are, like, dead hallways. Some of them, there'll be a hole and a hand just comes out in front of your face. Like, you just really don't know when.
Don't know. There's, one of the things I mentioned before with, in the Aftermath area, there's a greenhouse scene, and it's got all that, like, zigzag fencing along it the whole way. And we had actually seen this effect in Universal a few years ago. It's that fencing, but it's made out of mesh, so the actor can actually pull it apart and pop out. So you think it's a solid fence that you're walking towards. I'm not going to spoil where it's at, but it's in the fencing. And they scare the crap out of you. And I knew it was there because I remember it from the last time we were there. And I'm just like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And they got me. They got me. I still.
And one thing I did like this year, it seemed like there were more roaming actors. Because that was one of our complaints before. Mm-hmm. Like, what did we give actors last year? Did we give them a 10 as well, or did we not?
No, we gave them a 9.5.
Yeah, one thing like we complained a little bit last year was the fact that like there were almost only boo pedals and not many roaming actors, and there is still majority boo pedals, but there were a lot more like people like jumping on the cars and being really erratic. People like especially like in the asylum, there's a lot of people just flopping about on desks and just being creepy. Yeah, it felt like there was more actors that were roaming and just like really trying to get you, especially in the main city spot. Mm-hmm. Like they were hiding everywhere, and they were doing a good job focusing on like everyone. Yeah, not just trying to scare one person, but like because it gets so up in your face, and they're so good at being quick and snappy at you that even if like you know it's coming, it still really jolts you because all of a sudden someone's just like that in your face, and it freaks you out. Yeah, and they're so good at getting so close. Yeah, it was just really impressive what they were able to do. The chainsaw guy at the end really creeped me out in the room with the big puppets because he like just was swinging around like a madman, and it looked at least like he was getting really close to me to the point where I was actually ducking. I know the snake puppet person, like you think they said hi.
I swear I heard someone go hi, like as the snake's coming out at me. I swear somebody went, hi. I mean, if I was mishearing something, okay, but hi back.
Yeah.
Because you scared me because I didn't expect it to come out.
But yeah, actors like and the costuming as well is just
Oh, yeah.
immaculate. Like everyone is costumed so perfectly; they fit the scene they're in. Yeah, actors are a 10. I mean, yes, we said there might have been a couple spots here and there would have been nice to have someone, but this place was really well staffed. Like no
Yes.
place is ever going to be perfectly staffed.
No.
We got so many scares or so many interactions, and it was very few and far between where you would go very far without having some kind of interaction with an actor, whether it be a jump scare or just some kind of interaction. Yeah, absolutely a 10. Now for scare factor, yeah, I have all the jump scares
All
in the
the jump
notes.
scares.
So many, and those boot pedals are so effective. So one of the things that I've kind of talked a little bit about, but I kind of want to talk about why I think that this place is so effective. So the music is so loud.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the good things about the music being so loud is they can congo on you in here, kind of like Halloween Horror Nights does. But you can't tell what's going on in the next room.
No.
Like, you might have a group right in front of you, and there's so much scrim, which I mean that you have to push your way into each room. There's, like, hanging stuff, and you push it. You can't, like, you can kind of hear, and you can see lights, and you know there's a scare happening in the next room, but you don't know where from, you don't know exactly what's going to happen. I mean, there's times where I would literally see someone get scared in front of me, and they would still be able to get me, because, like, there's in the asylum, it's just kind of a hallway, and this guy comes out of a door. I literally watch him get the group in front of me, but it's a dark hallway. When he hits it, all the lights turn on, then he flies out of a door.
Yeah.
And he still managed to scare me, even though I literally watched him scare the people in front of me. Because everything is so loud, everything is just so unnerving, it really puts you at like a 10. And we talked about this like at Nightmare Cleveland. One of the reasons their scares are so effective is their sound system. Is it really just, when you're already unnerved because of the environment you're in, it's that much easier to scare your victims.
Yeah, the whole time I was walking through Fear Columbus, I was in defense mode, which is basically me doing this. I'm not going to punch or anything like that, but it's basically me with my hands up, ready to just kind of do this and stuff. Plus I have to move through the scrim, so my hands are like kind of like this, but I'm always like up like this, like oh my god. Usually if you're in like another haunt that's not as, you don't think it's going to be as scary, I usually have my hands like in my pockets or to my side, things like that. But this was the whole time, because of the intensity of everything that's coming at you, I was in defense the entire time. I was just like...
And that's why, like, we compared Nightmare Cleveland to this, because of the sound system mainly. Yeah. Everything else is kind of different. But yeah, that sound system, like, and the lighting and that, like, everything together, it really does. It puts you in, like, a bit of a panic mode. Even when you're not getting jump scares, you're just uneased.
Yes.
Because of just how overwhelming everything is and how real the environment you're in feels.
Yeah.
It's really just phenomenal. Now, they don't touch here. I do think it would be fun if they offered a touch pass.
Oh my gosh.
This place gets really busy, though, and I think it might be hard to be that intimate with groups of people.
Yeah.
But, like, I think they could reach out and maybe, like grab and stuff like that, but I don't know how... I mean, but I don't even know if it really needs it, because, again, the jump scares are really intense here. The place is definitely more beautiful than gory, so there's not a ton of gore. There's a little bit here and there, but it's really focused on the spectacle this one is. But yeah, we thought it was really scary, so we gave it a 9.25. It said it's not as scary as some of the ones that are just going to choke you and throw you around or anything, but like as far as jump scares and immersion go, there's not much better than this when it comes to like that aspect of scare factor.
Right.
Yeah, it's intense. That being said, like, I do think this is one that you could take someone that doesn't go to a lot of haunted houses, and while it's going to scare the crap out of them, because the spectacle is so grand, I think they'll still have a good time and maybe not be too freaked out. Like, it is a lot, and it is a sensory overload, but I mean, it's just so beautiful. I can't imagine anyone going in this. Like, they might piss themselves, but they'll be like, that was something else that I just saw. Like, I don't know.
So that moves us on to value. So it took us about 10 minutes to go through the summoning and about 15 minutes to go to...
through Aftermath, yeah.
Through Aftermath. It varies on price depending on the day that you're going. It's from about $19.99 to $29.99. Fast Pass varies again by how busy they are.
So this is an interesting thing, and I didn't realize it. So, like, when I looked at the ticket prices, it was about a week before we went because I was curious what we were going to need to spend. I saw there was $10 more for the Fast Pass. And then I checked again later in the week because I wasn't sure who I was going. I was trying to figure out if it was just me and Kim. It ended up just being me and Kim for this one because no one else could, get the time to go to Columbus. Then when I finally bought them a couple days before the event, it went up $5. And then out of curiosity, I checked on the day of, it went up another $5. Ooh. So do know that they will increase the Fast Passes, I assume, as demand increases. Like the more people to buy them, the higher that gets. Which is not something I realized, so the sooner you buy, the better for Fast Pass. But I will tell you this, if you can get the Fast Pass for $10 more, even $15 more, but especially $10, do it, don't think about it, do it. We did not do, because I don't know if you said yet, but you can for an additional 10, maybe more, I don't know if this one fluctuates, you can do what's called a front of the line pass, where the Fast Pass is just a faster line. Front of the line means you go right to the front. Yeah. This is the second year we've done Fast Pass, and we go in instantly. Yeah. We had no wait. The only wait we waited in is because we got there a little before our time slot. We waited there for like a couple minutes, and then we went through security, and then we just walked into the house. Yep. So I think the Fast Pass is completely worth it because even though they do time ticketing, I would say the wait probably was at least an hour. They do move through pretty fast, though, because, again, they are on top of stuff here. Yeah. Like, they know what's up. They are very professional. They get you through. I mean, everything's very clear where to go. Everything's marked well. I've never seen a haunted house as organized as this.
Yeah, it is very well organized.
Huge props to, the people that run it. Yeah, there's huge props to you guys. Value, we gave a 10, especially if you go on like a Wednesday night when you can get in for $20 to this thing. That's, that's more than $1. That's less than $1 a minute, for one of the best haunts, in the nation. Like, yeah, it's so cheap.
Yeah, we mentioned Wednesday night. The last 2 weekends or 2 weeks of October, they are actually going to be open. The second to last week, they're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Lots of opportunity to go.
And then that final week, they're actually open on Tuesday.
Wow, yeah.
Through Sunday. So you have big opportunities to be able to go there, get your scare on, get your Halloween spooks, all that fun stuff. So definitely take advantage of those lesser days, like the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Those are probably your best bet to not be as busy. I would definitely take advantage of that Fast Pass.
Yeah, definitely do that. Also, their gift shop is really cool. Lots of like cool shirts and stuff. I don't know if it's stuff they've made, but they sell a lot of really cool old school Halloween themed shirts. They do have stuff with their own name on it and that, but there's a lot of stuff that's not branded to them, but they do sell a lot of cool Halloween merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, make sure you check out our merch store where we have hoodies with our cool logo. There's a thing on the screen showing it you right now. T-shirts, bags, all that kind of stuff. Also, make sure to check out our Patreon if you want to help us continue to make videos. Give us a super thanks if you want to give us a tip. Also, leave us a comment where you'd like to see us go in the future when it's not haunt season and that kind of stuff. That being said, it is now time to give it our overall score, which I think at this point is pretty obvious. We did give it a 10. There's not much that I could think to really improve this haunt. I think it's about the perfect length. I mean, because when we were done, I felt like very fulfilled. I was like, yes, I am. That was a lot of haunt. That was a lot of things that happened, and I'm ready to sit in the car now for a minute.
Yeah, my adrenaline was just going like crazy.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much the perfect length. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit longer. Like, if they squeaked 30 minutes out of it, I wouldn't complain, but I don't think it needs to be longer. But, like, yeah, I think it is just overall just a great haunt, and I think it's one that if you are into haunted houses, you can't miss this. With this and Haunted Hoochie being so close to each other, and Carnage. Those are just 3 haunts that I really think if you're in the Columbus area you should do. We mentioned the Carnage review, but start with Carnage, write it open, do Fear Columbus, then go to Patalasca for, or Patalasca, however you say it, to Haunted Hoochie. You'll just have a great, fun night of haunts because Hoochie's open like super late. We don't have a review this year, but we have one for last year, and they typically don't change too much year to year. But they just close whenever they want. Like we got there midnight last year and went through, so that's why I'm saying like that's a good order to kind of do them in. It's just keep in mind that Fear Columbus you do have to have time ticketing for. But yeah, fun fact though is that if you do realize you're going to be late for it, if you go to like the email they sent you, there is a way to change your ticket time through like the website when you log back in. So if you like book something and you're like, oh crap, I'm going to be late, you can go change ticket time. I've had to do that last year and this year now, so keep that in mind. But yeah, have you been there? What did you think of the place? I can't imagine anyone going there and like being disappointed by it. If you are, I really want to know what you want in a haunt. Honestly, though.
Yeah, really. Like,
if you're unsatisfied with this place, maybe you just simply don't like haunted houses or just don't like art design. I don't know. Or just really, I mean, if you hate being scared, I guess that's fair. But then I very surprised you were watching this video, especially this far. But thank you much for watching. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing, and also make sure you're ringing that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We will be going to Markov's Forest and a couple other in Maryland. We know we want to do that one, probably Bennett's Curse. But if you've been in that area, what other haunts do you recommend? Like, I know Field of Screams, Maryland is one that's supposed to be good. There's that Haunted Laurel in the theater.
Yeah.
That one maybe. But yeah, let us know what you think would be some good other haunts in that area to check out. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.